right, I'm joined now, as promised, by Tim Brando, former colleague of mine at CBS Sports, now currently employed with Fox Sports. He does college football. He does college basketball. In fact, he was just doing the ACC tournament. Tim, welcome.
Randy, at long last, I'm so glad we were able to get this taken care of. As I'm speaking to you, I'm finally making it home after what has been my usual football, basketball grind of about 8.5 months. And now I'm going to sit back at the chateau and do the Big Daddy B. That's what my grandkids call me. I'm going to do the Big Daddy B thing, watch the tournament with everyone else, and just kind of enjoy the fact that I know I'm not having to prepare for eight teams and 4 games in one day like I used to for all those years.
Oh, yeah.
Play a little golf and enjoy myself, you know?
Hey, to get kind of a busman's holiday starting your Final Four March Madness off, do you have any sleepers for people out there that are doing their last-minute bracket fills?
Yeah, I do. I've got, in my Final Four, I've got Texas Tech making it all the way. I love Chris Beard's team. I love their draw. I think the matchup that could be really fun, I think there are 2 sleepers in that side of the bracket. Nevada made it to the Sweet 16 a year ago, and Texas Tech. And to me, Texas Tech has been proven because of the way they had to play and the competition level that they had in the Big 12. It wasn't easy in that league. It wasn't a vintage year for the Big 12 with Kansas not being necessarily the Kansas of old, but Texas Tech is a lockdown defensive team, and defenses travel. They've got a great shooter in Culver, and I think that they have the ability to do a lot of things in this tournament. And I just like their draw.
Yeah.
I really, really do. Tennessee is the other team that I believe will spoil it for one of the ACC top seeds. I think Virginia is going to run into a really tough and difficult Tennessee team. And I know people are saying, well, they just got their doors blown off by Auburn. Look, that happens. And they had just beaten Kentucky, and I think maybe exhaled a little bit in that game, Randy.
Yeah.
I love Grant Williams. I think the world of Admiral Schofield. And I think the Volunteers under Rick Barnes, they're a veteran team. I think they understand the tournament that they're in and how you go about getting the job done. Virginia's got some limitations, and I saw them, as you know, in the ACC tournament. Florida State, I thought, exposed some of those limitations with their size and with their length. But Tennessee's got all those things, especially power people inside. I see chalk the other way. I think Duke is in a great position, even though they're going to have to work. I mean,
right.
They will be challenged. They will be challenged as quickly as the second round. Either UCF or VCU are athletic and will give them a tough go in the East region. And Virginia Tech has already beaten them. And the Hokies are getting Justin Robinson back. He has not played for the better part of 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks. But he's a great leader. He's a point guard. And with Keil Alexander-Walker as a guard, and with the outstanding play that they get from Blackshear inside, I think they are going to give Duke a great game. And then I get Michigan State as the 2 seed. That's the team that really did get, I thought, a bad break.
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably heard the criticism. They would have been better served losing the Big Ten title game because Michigan didn't get placed on the same side of the bracket as Duke did. But sometimes that's just the way it falls. And but I like Duke getting through, and I like North Carolina to get through. I think the Tar Heels are probably in the best possible position of any of the 1 seeds. And frankly, Randy, I think they're going to play again. I think North Carolina and Duke, for the first time ever, will play in the finals and advance to the championship. And I think in a 4th matchup, I like Carolina. I think they're a more complete team, and I think the Tar Heels are the team to watch now to get it done. Because right now, Duke, as good as they are struggling with their 3-point shooting. They went 2 for 14 in that title game that G-Man and I had, and I'm going to tell you, I think that that's going to be a problem for them. Zion Williamson's a generational player. I mean, he's a once every 20, 25-year guy, but they're not getting the help with the perimeter shot at all from R.J. Barrett or from Cam Reddish. And if Trey Jones is outstanding and can create some turnovers for them against North Carolina, then they get a shot. But I think the way Kobe White's playing right now, and the great shooting capability that North Carolina has with Luke May and particularly Cam Johnson, I think he's the best shooter in the country.
Yeah,
I think Roy will beat Kay in that monster. Can you imagine a monster matchup?
That would be fantastic.
Long last North Carolina. They never played in an NCAA tournament.
Hey, I got a question for you. There's a team that is out there that I'm hearing a lot of talk about, at least in Buffalo, but I don't know much about Buffalo. Do you?
I saw them just a couple of times. Couldn't tell you anything really about them other than they play really tough. They're a transition team. They played Marquette, who's got that outstanding shooting team of theirs with Marcus Howard and company, and I think he went off that night for something like 53 points. But Buffalo wanted to play with them. They wanted to run. They are a speed team. They're a team that I believes that they can go up against anybody and outshoot them and press and go full court. A lot of times teams like Buffalo, when they play bigger, stronger guys that also can run, they can be in trouble. But they are a tough defensive team as long as they're playing full court pressure. A lot of times full court pressure leads to open looks. I think it depends on the draw with them.
Mm-hmm.
They had some success last year. They returned some of that talent. So, yeah, I've got them, I think, winning their first-round game. I do have them winning their first-round game. So I've got them going to I can't remember if they play Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, but I think I've got them going to the second game.
All righty. Hey, I can't have you on and not talk a little bit of college football. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts about the 2018 season? And do you think we're going to see as much of sort of the same old groups when it comes to 2019?
Yeah, I mean, Randy, as long as we have these same criteria and play with the playoffs, I don't see any real changes. The bottom line here is, unfortunately, like it or not, you can schedule down if you're Alabama or Clemson, and it doesn't matter. And it's a problem when you're only playing 8 conference games in one league, 9 in another. And the Alabama schedule last year was horrific. This year it's worse than that, and it won't matter.
Yeah.
So that's one of the problems that the college game has until they adopt and understand that they need to go to 8. I certainly hope. I know Jim Delaney's leaving the Big Ten after the 2020 season. I sure hope one of his legacies is that he drives through the expansion to 8 teams before he leaves.
Yeah.
I hope that's one of the things that he plans on trying to accomplish because it's desperately needed.
Well, by the same token, Tim, I mean, you've got Ohio State in the Big Ten, and you've got Oklahoma in the Big 12, and obviously they have competitors. But you take those 4 teams, it's hard to imagine at least 3 of those not being in any kind of a 4-team playoff, because we've seen such a not a dearth, but a sort of step back in the Pac-12. That they're either cannibalizing themselves or the recruiting and the level is just not where it's been.
Oh, you're absolutely right. The Pac-12 in general is in peril. This notion that maybe the Big 12 and the Pac-12 might merge down the road one day, I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but it could, down the road. I mean, I could see that potentially if we ever go to a super conference situation. I also think our old friend Mike Oresco's conference, the American Athletic Conference, is getting hosed. That league is so good, is delivering not just one great team, usually one great team, but two or three really good teams. And, I'm here to tell you, I saw enough Pac-12 to know. Now, Oregon will be in good shape. Mario Cristobal has really recruited well. I think they could, you could see a resurgence in their game, their team this year, especially with their quarterback, with Herbert back and his brother coming in.
Yeah.
And the recruiting class that Mario had. But other than them, SC's going nowhere fast. Chip still has another. He's going to need 2 or 3 recruiting classes at UCLA
to
get that thing going. Washington's still good, but they're not great. And Washington State is hit and miss based on who the quarterback is. We'll just have to wait and see with them.
Yeah.
But the league in general is suffering, and across the board. Financially, I don't need to tell you how bad the basketball was. They, in my opinion, should have only had one team in the tournament. They managed to shoehorn a second one in basketball. But yeah, the problem I have, and I moaned about it this past year, and as you know, because you used to come on my show years ago that was still going on when we went to the playoffs, and no one wanted the playoff more than me because the godforsaken BCS was the worst thing that was out there. But I'm not sure that the BCS wasn't more inclusive in the sense that, with the metrics that they utilized, it wasn't just human beings saying, "Oh, those are the bigger, stronger, faster guys with the biggest brands, so we're going to bring them in." I think, UCF would have had a better chance of making a potential BCS final than making a 14 playoff.
Yeah,
with the system in play. I mean, that's the sad part of all of this.
Yeah,
if we utilized some form of that, then we would have had more inclusion, but we don't. So I don't want, Randy, in July, I don't want to be able to tell everybody who the 4 teams are going to be because I know there's parity out there. There's parity.
Absolutely.
But we can't tell with the system in play. You can't tell. It's the same teams every year. And I don't want it to become the NBA. I mean, the last thing I want college football to become is as predictable as the NBA.
Yeah. Humans don't always make things better. Sometimes they need a computer and some stats to figure things out.
Yeah, exactly. And the people on the committee, and I know they're well-reasoned, intelligent people, a lot of older coaches, Randy, that I've respected for many years, but they see the game through the same prism. The kind of guys that would look out there at warm-ups and say, "Oh boy, those guys look like they can play."
Yeah.
Well, I don't want that kind of thinking, slanted thinking, going into the process. If it's the same group of older coaches that believe the game has got to be played one way, then we're going to get these same teams every year: Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. And then name, that other team that's going to get in there, whether it's Oklahoma, which right now appears to be that team. And once Texas beats them, it'll be another brand name like them, out of the Big 12. So it really shuts the door to any team that comes out of someplace special. And had Washington State beaten Washington last year, I think it could have really exposed this process for what it was, because I thought Washington State, from a defensive standpoint, was better than they'd ever been, and I would have loved for them to have been on the outside looking in with just one loss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
They got a little bit of a break when Washington State lost the Apple Cup, and weather had a lot to do with that, as it oftentimes does in that game for Leach. But one of these years, either a team like them or somebody else is really going to get hosed and won't have a chance to get in, and it's just a damn shame. College football deserves to do a better job for itself than it currently is. And this 14 playoff right now is as bogus a process and as exclusive a club as I think I've ever seen. And we just don't need it. I mean, Nick Saban's a great coach. Alabama is going to be is a juggernaut. I don't want to rain on any. I'm not raining on any of their parades. Okay, I'm not. But when all you have to do is just line up and play 8 teams, and you can go and play Arkansas State and Louisiana Lafayette and the Citadel in November and get away with it. That is pathetic.
There's something wrong with that.
Absolutely pathetic.
All right. Hey, Timmy B, thank you so much, and safe travels. Good luck getting back to the chateau, and all the best, and enjoy your time as the grandfather for a few months.
Man, Archie Manning told me a long time ago, he said, man, I didn't know I'd have 2 first-round picks. I didn't know that I'd have 2 MVPs and Super Bowls, but I got news for you. Those 6 grandchildren are even better. And he was so right.
Yep. Yes, he is.
Greatest. Super talking to you, Randy, and continued success. And give my guys up there in 43 that you're working with, many of whom I shared time in the booth with, a big hello. Okay?
All right, I sure will, Tim. Thanks, man.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.